Greedy owner tries to rip off my friend, ends up paying him double by Satisfaction Call 1572. My first job out of college was for a local TV station. The owner was, and still is, the worst human being I've ever met. This guy has money, but he will cheat and lie anything to get out of paying his bills. When I started working there, the owner had just signed a contract with DirecTV to become a part of their broadcasting package. Since they were at the time purely a local TV station, this meant that we had about 2 months to upgrade our system so that we can start broadcasting to DirecTV customers in the entire Bay Area. Every day that we failed to do this past the deadline means that the owner would suffer a penalty per the contract. Not knowing about how any of this works, the owner hired a friend of mine to come in as a freelance consultant. My friend told him that for about $15,000 USD, he can get a system that will automate the entire process, which, of course, the guy didn't want to pay. He tasked my friend with finding a cheaper way, around half, and to pay for all of the hardware up front and get reimbursed later. Knowing what a piece of crap this guy is, I warned my friend not to front the money because he wouldn't get paid back. The guy just smiled and said, "Watch me." So he made it work, we went on live on schedule, and the owner was happy. Then my friend went in and presented the guy with a bill. Immediately, the usual excuses start. "Oh, I'm a little short this month. Can I pay you later?" And so blah, 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 blah. Then my friend pulls out the trump card. Not only did my friend threaten to take all the equipment back and take the station off the air, he reveals that in order to get the uplink working for cheap, someone had to come in every day and code the broadcast manually. It's not a terribly complicated procedure, takes like less than 5 minutes, but of course, no one else at the station knows how to do it but him. So either the owner can pay him what he's owed plus $2,000 a month consulting fee, or the station goes dark and he starts paying the penalty to DirecTV. This effort paid fast. So instead of $15,000, he ended up shelling out more than double that amount as my friend lapped up his $2,000 a month fee for close to a year before he felt bad and finally taught someone there how to do it. Moral of the story, only thinking about short-term gain will always cost you more in the long run. Consistency is key, posted by Junior Ad 5579. A few years back, I worked for a small title company attached to one of the United States' largest mortgage companies. My specific role was title compliance, so I would have to review the files, request specific documentation, acquire signatures, and basically do everything that needed to be done so the house can change hands with zero issues. This was during the refinance boom, so at times I was working 12 to 16 hours a day when my boss has a meeting one day and tells me how unproductive I am. I'm taken aback because I'm eating at my desk and working through lunch. I show him that I log all of my productivity and he says he'll get back to me. The next meeting we have is about a week later and he shares his screen and searches new files only. So if you have to go into the same file twice or cover someone else, it only counts as one task complete and for the original person. I agree that from this moment on, I will work harder and be near the top in terms of production. Malicious compliance. I realized that search he used is available to everyone, so I started searching specifically the people that shared my job title. New files only. At the end of the day, the highest count was 8 files. I was up to about 30 files when it came to files total because each file had anywhere from 1 to 10 tasks that had to be done. So I matched it in about an hour and logged off. It was at this time that I realized you could open a file, investigate it, and close out, and it didn't log you as performing a task. So I started earlier than everyone else, knocked out 8 files before 8 a.m., and would relax the rest of the day. Dog needs a walk, shopping needs to be done, laundry, you name it, it was done, because I had already matched or beat top production for the day. I would open up a Word document and lay something heavy enough down so that it hit the 0 button so that my computer wouldn't go to sleep. This continued for 8 months, and every monthly review I received was glowing after that, how I'm the model employee and take direction extremely well. Layoffs started to happen. I saw the writing on the wall, so I started using my extra time looking for a job. 2 rounds of layoffs complete, and I survived both cuts. When they laid me off, it was only 3 weeks before I started my new one since I was already interviewing for a position. The Microwave Decree, posted by Zephayu. 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 The Microwave Decree, posted Some time ago, break room cleanliness went downhill. Started off small. Cutlery was left in the sink instead of washed. Coffee rings remained on the tables. It took a turn to tragedy when microwave manners stopped. Suddenly, lasagna remains and gravy stains happened every day. Fortunately, Helen was on the case. Strategically placed posters and a polite email encouraged everyone to clean up after themselves. Yet the microwave madness continued. There was a second wave of reminders, a little more passive-aggressive. Then the chili incident. The whole microwave interior, door to floor, all around, was left coated in a thin layer of exploded chili. Understandably, Helen was not happy. The newest directive was swift and punitive. We were to leave the microwave spotless. Anyone caught desecrating it would face disciplinary action. Nothing more was specified, just that vague threat. The manager, equally tired of the melodrama and mess, and perhaps a little frightened of Helen, signed off on it. Helen was delighted and spent a few hours happily telling everyone that this would surely fix the problem and restore peace to the broken break room. It seemed a little too draconian for my taste. The next day, I brought in stir-fry leftovers, used the microwave, and, shame, a bit of sauce-coated broccoli slipped away. I took out the spinning plate and gave it the best possible treatment, a hot, bubbly bath in the sink. I gently scrubbed it down with a sponge and hummed some bossa nova to really tie together the experience. The inside of the microwave door also had some debris stuck on. I wiped that away, and then the rest for good measure. The top too, in case of dust. I used toothpicks to clear vents and scrape gunk from the buttons. After half an hour, the appliance looked new. Well, those 30 minutes were also during the lunch period, which meant a good number of coworkers stopped in to use the microwave. Had to stop a few times and let someone use it, which restarted the cleaning. Everyone understood that since microwave cleanliness was now the most important thing in the office, this was a necessary task to be completed immediately. Everyone except the manager. He wasn't too happy that I took so long doing something that was far outside my job description instead of actual work. The decree was dropped. A new system was established with rotated cleaning duties. With everyone equally responsible for managing mess, cleanliness, and peace were restored. Well, if you're sure that's how to do it, posted by Trying My Best 1983. I have a favorite memory from when I was about 6 years old, when I had the pleasure of witnessing the rare double whammy of a classic mansplain followed by malicious compliance, so simple and well executed that it was practically a work of art. I was sitting down to dinner with my brother and our mom and dad when I asked my brother to pass the salad dressing. He attempted to comply, but the handoff was intercepted by our father, who loudly proclaimed to the rest of us, "Wait, you always pour out too much salad dressing and then you waste it. Let me show you how it's done." While he informed me of my inadequate salad dressing application techniques, he also proceeded to unscrew the cap of the dressing, presumably in preparation of his impromptu lesson on proper salad dressing etiquette. However, he was so focused on making sure that I knew I was in the wrong that he failed to notice the lid was of the snap open and close variety utilized by most squeeze bottles. So he wasn't just opening the bottle to get ready to pour, he was removing the lid and the squeeze bottle insert. So when he upended the bottle to show me how to do it, almost the entire contents of the nearly full container poured out over his meal in one huge and hilarious blob. Now, you may be wondering how the other members of the family reacted to such a hugely hilarious blunder. Well, dear reader, this is where the malicious compliance comes in. While the rest of us stared in shock and horror at the river of Italian dressing running down my father's salad off of his plate to form a pool on the linen tablecloth, my brother took action in the most hilarious way possible. He grabbed a second bottle of salad dressing from the table and began removing the lid and squeezing the insert together at the same time. Then he turned to our father with a beatific smile on his face and said, "I think I get it, Dad. Is this how you showed us how to do it?" At which point he upended and spilled the second full bottle of salad dressing in as many minutes, and we all watched as the dressing ran off of his plate to join together with the remains of our fathers. Lying and using people? I got you. Posted by Don't Give Up the Shoe. This one needs background to fully understand why I went out of my way for this revenge. My best friend was married for 10 years, with his ex for a total of 13 years. He was absolutely head over heels in love with her like I had never seen before. which I never understood due to her alcohol abuse. She would always take it out on him, and when he'd be venting about it, he'd always fall back on, "It's not her, it's the illness," a very respectable and admirable stance on it. Last year, she asked for a divorce because after years of what I would call abuse, he had simply run out of gas. Her reasoning for asking for one? When she got fired for testing positive for MJ, he wasn't empathetic enough. He admits he wasn't because it had come on the back of one of her drunken tirades where she told him he was a piece of crap who always was trying to control her, when all that he ever tried to get her away from was booze for the way she treated him when she was drunk. It took him forever to move on from this, with the divorce following shortly after. And earlier this year, after thinking he was moving on, he calls me to come over and he's in a bad way. I arrive and he is absolutely fall down level of drunken. Going on that she didn't ask for a divorce for those reasons, that she'd really been cheating with several other people. The next morning, when he's more coherent, I ask him how he knew. He was cleaning out the spare room and selling or donating stuff that he didn't need anymore, and when he went out to clear an old tablet, she was still logged on and all the evidence was there. He gets that out and says he's going back to bed and asks me to lock up when I leave. Before I left, I looked at the tablet. After seeing what I saw, I wanted to find a way to get even with this horrible and conniving woman, so I took pictures of it all and left. When I got home, I started looking up information about these people. 2 of them were just normal guys. Whether they knew she was married or not, I don't know. But the third comes up as a registered sex offender, still on probation for being such a disgusting pile of crap, and address listed as 123 Lane, City, State. Jerk knew that she was married. I immediately knew what I was going to do. Jerk didn't live at 123 Lane. Jerk was living with the conniving ex. She made regular posts about their time together, and on top of that, she's an avid MJ user and has several firearms because she enjoys sport shooting. So I go into the state's offender site and make a report of Jerk not actually living where he's registered, and that Jerk is living in a home with what he has no right to, being a convicted felon and on parole. I include screenshots of the social media post and all to back it up. I was thinking little would happen, but an inconvenience to their lives. Boy, was I wrong. She broke her typical post with nothing serious trend on social media yesterday with this gem. "My year can't get any worse. Jerk lost his job and I am now facing eviction because I can't afford my rent." So I go onto the state court system site to see if it's related. And yes, it was. Jerk was rearrested. She clearly can't post bail or Jerk would be out. The job she took after being fired definitely can't support her lifestyle, so he's probably going back to prison or at least jail, and she's a breath away from being homeless. I don't know if I'd ever tell my best friend that I was the one behind this, but he is definitely ecstatic to see a horrible woman and a sewer rat get what they deserve. Part of me wants to put up the offender registration link and that it's sitting in jail and say something to the effect of, "Well, it's a little more than losing a job," but not wanting to make my best friend's life harder, I'll just let sleeping dogs lie. Brother ruined my wedding by proposing, so I ruined his proposal. Posted by Neitherglove4355. I, 35-year-old male, have a younger brother, Todd, who's 29, who had a complicated birth and had to stay a month in the ICU, and because of that, my parents have always doted on him and almost denied him nothing, even if it was to the detriment of my sister Abby, who's 32, and I. My brother drinks in on the attention, and he has on more than one occasion made himself the center of attention at either my sister's, or a cousin's special event. Because of this, Abby and I have a strained relationship with Todd and our parents. Unfortunately, Todd met and fell in love with Lucy, who's 24, who announced her own pregnancy at the baby shower my mom held for Abby. When I proposed to my wife, Michelle, who's 30, I just wanted to elope, but she really wanted her family to be there, so I invited my family out of obligation. While our best man, Jim, 35, noticed a receipt from a jewelry store slipped out of Todd's pocket. Jim confronted Todd about this, which led to an argument. Jim told me everything, and I told Todd that he was no longer going to be a groomsman because I knew he was going to propose at my wedding. Todd cried to our parents, which led to a blowout. In my parents' eyes, since Todd never admitted that he was going to propose to Lucy at my wedding, I was unfairly judging him. I refused and brought up Todd's past behavior. My parents couldn't refute this and got Todd to agree to not try anything at my wedding. This wasn't enough to convince me to let him be a groomsman, but I warned him that if, as a guest, he'd try anything, I would make him regret it. Fast forward to the wedding, and surprise, surprise, Todd walked over to Lucy and proposed to her during Michelle's father-daughter dance, and did it in a way so that everyone would notice. Cue my revenge. Jim and I had hired a woman to pretend to be Todd's side piece, who cornered Todd and Lucy and claimed that she was pregnant with his baby. Todd denied this, but when she called his phone, I gave her his number and messed with Todd's phone to incriminate him. It didn't look good. Lucy threw the ring back at Todd and left in tears. When Todd saw the smile on my face, he knew that it was me, and I didn't respond to a single call or text from him or my parents until after the honeymoon. Lucy has thrown Todd's stuff out and has been denying access to their kid. Todd is furious and demanding that I clear his name. I sent him a text saying that I had no idea what he was talking about, as well as a screenshot of a bill for the wedding, and gave a vague message demanding reimbursement for half the wedding cost. Michelle knew the whole time what I was planning and gave me the green light after Todd ruined her moment with her dad. So I felt pretty good, but now even Abby thinks I went too far. I destroyed my boss, Karen. She'll regret messing with me after this. Click the video on your screen, you don't want to miss this one, and I will see you there.